This is the only video you're going to need to watch to learn about a Roth IRA. I've got 15 things you may not know. We're going to talk about Fidelity's most recent data, who can open a Roth IRA, how much you can invest, what some exclusions are, what some tax benefits are, what some little known uses are, and much, much more coming up now. Fidelity analyzed their Q4 year-over-year growth and found that Gen Z ownership of IRAs was up 71% and millennial ownership of IRAs was up 22%. Across all generations, the Roth IRA accounted for 61% of all IRA contributions. The market has clearly decided that the Roth IRA is the investment vehicle of choice for the average retail investor. I'm going to show you why, but first, some history. The Roth IRA was named after Delaware Senator William Roth, who sponsored the Taxpayer Relief Act of 1997. Not to be confused with a traditional IRA, which has been around since 1974, the Roth IRA occupies a different tax lane entirely. Contrary to popular belief, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement. Arrangement and account are often used interchangeably. It's a totally useless fact. So moving on. To start, a Roth IRA is not an investment. Instead, it's a vehicle in which you can place your investments. When you transfer your money into a Roth IRA, you are not investing. The money you've transferred in will just sit in your money market settlement fund. It's no different than putting your money in a checking or savings account. Once you've transferred the funds into your Roth settlement fund, you can then use it to buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and more. All of these investments are held in this retirement vehicle. Uncle Sam makes the rules about what we can and cannot do in this vehicle, and if you follow these rules, you're going to get some pretty incredible benefits. Okay, second is the vast majority of Americans can open one up. Just like a traditional IRA, anyone 18 and older with taxable compensation up to a certain dollar amount can open an account and immediately start to contribute. That includes typical wages and salaries, commissions, self-employment income, and a few others. Earned income does not include things like rental property income, dividends, interest or pension or annuity income, plus a few more. If both spouses work and file taxes, each can have their own Roth IRA. Both cannot contribute to the same IRA. If taxes are filed jointly, only one spouse needs to have compensation, and you can still have two different Roth IRA accounts. Okay, number 3, minors can have a custodial Roth IRA. A custodian can open a Roth IRA on behalf of a minor. Just like a normal Roth IRA, the earnings can grow tax-free. They must be under 18, the account is controlled by an adult until the minor reaches legal adulthood, at which time they take ownership of the account. The contribution cannot exceed their income. If your 1-year-old is out there hustling in a baby commercial, as long as they pay taxes, they can have a custodial Roth IRA. If you have a 15-year-old cutting grass or babysitting, I'd get them started as early as possible. I've seen a lot of parents that will do a dollar-for-dollar match to help incentivize their teenager to start saving and investing. $100 a month from now until they're 65 comes out to over $1.7 million. Time is on their side. All right, number 4, there is no age cutoff. On the flip side to starting early, there is no age cutoff for when you can contribute. If you're 103 and have qualifying income, you can contribute to your Roth IRA. Get them, Gramps. Real quick, folks, you deserve the absolute best content. If you find this video helpful and informative, I'd really appreciate the immediate feedback. It lets me know that you're getting value out of this. Okay, number 5, you must designate it as a Roth IRA upfront. When you go to open up an account with a financial services firm, you must specifically request upfront that you want a Roth IRA to be opened. You must have this correct designation. Any account you've already set up that was not originally designated as a Roth IRA will not be eligible. Number 6, it's an after-tax retirement vehicle, which means after you pay taxes on your income, you're free to invest the money with no more tax obligations now or in the future. This applies to your contributions and the growth. All right, here's how powerful it is. I'm going to show you a traditional versus a Roth IRA comparison using the AARP calculator. Let's say you're starting with nothing in your traditional IRA and you're 30 years old. You decide to max out every year by contributing $540 every month. The assumption used here are 7% annual returns on an average income and average taxes. These are all fairly conservative assumptions. By age 65, you've contributed less than $250,000, but you end up conservatively with nearly $1 million in that account. If this was a traditional IRA, you'd have to turn around and give back over $140,000 to the government based on a typical tax bracket. Because this is a Roth, you keep it all. If you already get a standard deduction on your taxes, this just makes sense. 7 is that there are no required minimum distributions like a traditional IRA. You can leave the money in there until you pass. withdrawals. For a traditional IRA, after you reach age 72, you're required to start receiving distributions. Here's an example. A traditional IRA with an account balance of $1 million for a baby boomer born in 1946 would require they withdraw nearly $44,000 this year. Projecting out 10 years, that would increase to over $70,000. The reason for RMDs is that for a traditional IRA or 401k, they're both tax-deferred vehicles. By contributing to these accounts, now you've reduced your tax bill immediately. As a result, the government won't allow you to hold on to that cash forever. The tax man wants his cut, and so once you make it past 72, they're going to force you to start taking RMDs so they can get their grubby paws on it. I won't get into the tables and life expectancy calculations. The good news is that none of this applies with a Roth IRA. If you don't need or want to withdraw the money, you don't have to. There is an annual contribution max. This was recently updated to a max of $6,500 unless you're 50 or older. Once you hit 50, the IRS allows you to add another $1,000 to that, which is called a catch-up contribution. The max contribution number has changed over the years. Take a look at this chart. When the traditional IRA first came out in the 1970s, the annual max was $1,500 and there were no catch-up contributions. After 2001, they started adding an extra $1,000 to the max for catch-up contributions. It has steadily increased over the years and likely will continue to increase. At the pace of inflation, I think there's a decent chance we'll see another increase here in a few years, but only time will tell. For now, it's $6,500 and $7,500 if you're 50 and older. Now, there are income limits where they start to phase out what you can contribute. For singles, that phase out starts at $139,500 and continues all the way up to $153,000 where you're completely phased out and cannot contribute a dime. These are done in 10 increments of $1,500 each. For married filing jointly, it starts to phase out once you reach $219,000 and phases completely out once you reach $228,000 or more. These are done in 10 increments of $1,000 each. Of note here is that they reduce the amount you can contribute by 10% of the original max each time. This really drives home that the Roth IRA was intended for the middle class. Alright, number 10 is that there is a required time frame to contribute. You do not have to contribute to a Roth IRA in the calendar year. You have until tax time the following year. Take a look at this graphic. You can contribute up to the max in a calendar year, but let's say you hit a snag and for whatever reason you don't get to the max by December 31st. You have roughly another 3.5 months to mid-April to contribute towards the prior year, which equates to about 15.5 months. Your financial institution will ask you to decide which tax year you wish to contribute to, and you can assign it to the specific year. You just have to beat the tax filing date. Okay, number 11 is excess contributions. If you contribute excess amounts, you have until the due date of your taxes to withdraw the excess contribution, or you will pay a 6% tax each year on the excess amount left in the account. Number 12, withdrawals. Ah, yes, you ask. How do I get my money back? Well, you can withdraw your contributions at any time without taxes or penalties. The earnings can be pulled out if 5 years have passed since you first contributed without taxes or penalties as long as you're over 59.5, it's a first-time home purchase up to a lifetime limit of $10,000, or if it's due to your death or disability. If you're under 59.5, there are also some exceptions where the IRS will waive the 10% penalty for things like medical expenses, health insurance premiums, higher education, or an IRS levy. But taxes will still be due. Alright, number 13 is that it complements other accounts. You can contribute to a Roth IRA even if you participate in another retirement plan. Subject to the income limits and annual maximum, it's a great tax-free complement to a pre-tax account like a 401k, 403b, or similar employer-sponsored retirement plans. You can also contribute to a traditional IRA, but the totals between your traditional and Roth IRA when combined together cannot exceed the current limits. They're not going to allow you to double up in your IRAs. As far as exclusions go, they do have some exclusions for collectibles. There's no loophole here. It basically says that if you wish to take money from your Roth IRA and invest in things like artwork, rugs, antiques, metals, gems, stamps, coins, alcoholic beverages, or other tangible personal property, the IRS will not consider those acceptable investments and will consider it to be an early distribution with a 10% penalty. There are some exceptions for some kinds of bullion and coins, but there are some hoops to jump through. Sorry, but the IRS isn't going to let you invest in a stash of booze. Okay, and the last one here is a traditional to Roth IRA conversion. So if you remember me talking about how there are some income limits for a Roth IRA, there's still hope if you wish to have tax-free growth. If your income is over the limit, there is something called a backdoor Roth IRA, which is a conversion from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. There are a bunch of caveats to this, and it does trigger a taxable event. I'd recommend getting the assistance of a financial professional to help you avoid any pitfalls because it gets a little complicated. I'll probably end up making a separate video on this. Last but not least, the biggest benefit of a Roth IRA is that you can watch the next video where I talk about investing in Vanguard's VTI.